We are live, and this is Talking Sci-Fi.
And your host, Sean and Randee.
Hi, welcome to Talking Sci-Fi with your hosts, Sci-Fi Sean and
Randee.
And we have another special guest today. This is our second guest on our show, our run, our highly rated, growing podcast, YouTube. I want to introduce Rob Robertson. How are you doing, Rob?
Hey, how you doing?
Great. The reason why we have you today is you are a local, renowned, well-known Bigfoot enthusiast. And
Yes.
what is the name of you, or what do you actually like to call yourself?
Legend Tripper.
The Legend Tripper. And we thought this would be interesting because, as you know, we do Sci-Fi Bartow, and it's coming up in February. It's the 15th of the month, free event, Main Street Bartow. We're hosting, our theme this year is Myths and Monsters. And even on our poster, we have Bigfoot and Nessie on our poster. So we wanted to talk about a little bit of that. We want to focus on your forte, which is the Skunk Ape,
Yes.
Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Wild Man. What other names do we have for Bigfoot?
Well, in China it's called the Yeren. In Russia it's called an Almista. Down in Australia it's called the Yowie. Like I said, they're seen all over the world. Malaysia's got one, which I can't even pronounce that word. It's almost like orangutan.
Yeah.
Something.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I mean, they're seen all over the world. In fact, they're seen, there are reports of them all over the United States, with the exception of Hawaii. But just recently, I saw a YouTube video where a gentleman says that he's seen one on the Big Island, which I'm going to have to look into that one a little bit more.
That's an awful small space for the territory that a Sasquatch
I was going to
covers.
wonder about that one, but I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But like I said, it's the only report that's ever come out of Hawaii. So
Tell us a little bit how you got into this unique hobby.
I got into the unexplained as a kid.
Right.
There was two movies I always credit. One being The Legend of Augie Creek, 1974
Great
Charles
movie.
Peach movie.
Yep.
Which, just to throw this out there, Charles' daughter Dana has just had the movie digitally fixed and is going to be putting it back out again.
They went and HD'd it, huh?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be coming out really soon.
As a kid, that movie scared the hell out of me.
It's funny because when we went to go see it at the drive-in, I didn't know anything about it. And I remember taking my brother to the popcorn stand, and we walked by the poster, and I looked up and I went, what is that,
Yeah.
And on the bottom of the poster said, this is a true story. So we got back to the car, and that movie came on, and I think I watched it from the back seat in the drive-in, the old drive-in, just watching it.
Absolutely.
And I mean, this movie rattled me so much that I don't remember it was a double feature. I don't remember what the second movie was.
Because it got to your mind that deep.
And the whole way I would go home, I was like, what if that thing's in my backyard?
Correct.
We get home and my dad said, take the dogs outside to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm not going back there. What if this thing smells it? What if it left Falk, Arkansas and is in my backyard? Even though I live in the middle of a city, what if it's back there? So I made my brother come out back with me, because I can run faster than my brother.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And needless to say, it wasn't there, but and then my uncle, who was a icy vendor, went around and he came back and he was telling me stories about it. So that got me. And then my mom, who was from Edinburgh, Scotland, told me about the Loch Ness Monster.
Right.
So, at first I was scared, but then I started reading on it, and it just got really, really interesting. And then that awesome TV show In Search Of came on, hosted by Leonard Nimoy, and that just kind of sealed it right there. That became my passion. And ever since then, that's just kind of one of those things I've always enjoyed. If I had to do a book report in school, I'd always go get a Ivan T. Sanderson book or a John Keel book, which I'd already read, but I'd go ahead and do those as book reports, to make sure I got an A.
Absolutely.
You knew what you were talking about because you loved it so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, I took my friends over to Louisiana, Missouri to go look for Momo.
Momo. Mm-hmm.
And needless to say, we didn't plan that one very well. We ended up sleeping in the car that night, and my friends were a little angry. We didn't take the time to really plan that. Turned out, the Louisiana, Missouri was a lot further away than we anticipated it being.
Absolutely.
But as a kid, I went to Loch Ness.
Oh, that's great.
And then I joined the military and right out of high school, didn't get to do a whole lot in the military, but I still kept up on my reading and stuff like that. You know, I read all of Lauren Coleman's books and stuff like that. And I did get to go out to Area 51 when I was stationed out at El Paso.
We're planning on doing an Area 51, and we're going to ask you to be part of that show coming up. So.
And then when I retired in 2003, I made up to the wife. I said, I want to start going out and doing stuff. You know,
Right.
all this time I've given the military. Now it's my me time.
Right.
And we started going around different places. Started doing. I met Moneymaker when I was still in the Army, but now that I was out, and he would contact me when he came down to Florida, and we'd go out on some of those BRFO Bigfoot hunts. He'd invite me to come out there.
Explain to us what you just
BRFO is the Bigfoot Field Research Organization that Matt Moneymaker, the gentleman that's seen on the show Finding Bigfoot.
Yes,
That's his group.
All right.
And
So you've run up with those people before,
Yes,
huh?
I'm happy to say I know all of them.
That's really awesome. I love that show because they come close.
Oh
I
yeah,
think, so.
friends with Clipper Reckman and Bobo and
Bobo.
stuff. Yeah.
So you said you keep saying we. Is there a group of friends that go out all the time?
Actually, it's just me and my wife. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I do. Whenever I do go out, I hook up with some of the local teams or
Right.
groups around here. But as far as who I definitely go out with, it's usually my wife.
She's got your back. You know,
Yes.
That's
She,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say she believes in everything, but she loves going out there. She likes talking to people.
Right.
I mean, when I go out to these conferences to sell my book, the woman can sell a book. Let me tell you.
Tell us about your book.
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick, too.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Please.
My book is called Legend Tripping: The Ultimate Adventure. It's published by Adventures Unlimited Press.
Okay.
And a quick side note: the gentleman that owns Adventures Unlimited Press is David Childress, the
Okay.
gentleman from Ancient Aliens.
Yes. Oh, I did not know
Oh
that.
yes, in fact, I always refer to David as my friend and mentor
That's awesome.
because my book would not be as good as it was if it hadn't been for him.
Does your book mostly focus on, don't give away the plot line or anything, but does it focus mostly on Bigfoot or Sasquatch or UFOs or?
No, but you can definitely see my passion for Bigfoot in the
Yeah,
book.
okay.
I call it's a guidebook on how to go look for legends.
Okay.
And I go through, I talk about, cryptids,
Mhm.
and not just Bigfoot, all of them, the
Correct.
Mothman and Jersey Devil, to name a few. I talk about aquatic,
Creatures.
which we have Alti right up in Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
close.
then I go into haunted places, which, oh my God, Florida is just like St.
It's
Augustine, the
right,
most haunted
long,
city in the
You could spend months at St. Augustine
Yes.
on ghosting and all
even
that.
though Savannah tries to say we're the most haunted city.
Oh, no.
St. Augustine's the
St.
most
Augustine
haunted.
the most haunted. I agree with that.
I talk about UFOs. I talk about mysterious places that have gravity hills, our own, Spook Hills,
Spook
right up
Hills
in
is a
Lake
big one.
Wells,
Mhm.
not too far from here. And, ghost lights,
Yep.
And I talk about, buried treasure, which, there's still millions of dollars of gold. Pirate gold,
Absolutely.
Civil War gold is still unaccounted for.
Florida was a hot spot for pirates and all that, and the Spanish, the hiding
Yeah.
treasures and things like that as well.
Florida's actually number one,
Really?
followed by North Carolina.
Wow. Oh,
Believe it or
I
not,
didn't
for pirate,
realize
for,
that.
for
Yeah.
pirate gold. And as far as Civil War gold, I believe we may have been, I forget where we were up there as far as Civil War gold legends go, but we're up there near the top five.
Well, I got a back code, so I think Sean Jar is first.
I got postal diggers. I can't give about that deep, But seriously though, you've hunted after Skunk Ape. We'll stick with that. That's the Florida version of Bigfoot. How close have you come yourself to encountering?
Well, we've had a couple incidents. One of the incidents I like to tell people is about when we had a gentleman back in 2012, Thanksgiving, come see me.
Right.
Right after Thanksgiving, I should say, and tell me during Thanksgiving he was out at the Green Swamp, which is north of Lakeland. Thanksgiving morning, he was sitting in a tree stand, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning. There's a big, huge palmetto field in front of him, and it was kind of misty.
Right.
And he's sitting there playing on his phone. He's bored.
Sure.
And he caught movement of something coming out, and he thought at first it was a guy in a ghillie suit.
Right. Okay.
But he was noticed how fluid and how it was moving through the palmettos. He said, humans for the most part were very awkward, very clumsy walking through the
Right.
palmetto, especially in the dark. And he knows how fluid it was moving, and he just kind of watching and watching. He was waiting for it to get close, and he was going to yell over and say, "Hey, there's guys out here with guns. You need to be careful."
Right. Yeah.
But the thing stopped, and he was looking at it, and he goes, and then he said, I heard stories of the Skunk Ape before. I mean, I wasn't I've heard about it before. And then he took his cell phone out and he aimed it at it, and he was just recording, and the thing stopped and looked, like it was sniffing the air, and looked right up at him.
Wow.
And he said a chill shot down his spine when he realized that's not a guy in a suit, that he's looking at an animal.
I done stumbled on Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh.
So anyway, he stopped recording because he didn't know if the thing was going to charge at him or whatever.
Right.
But luckily, it took off running, and he got on the phone and called his dad and his son, who were on other tree stands in other areas, and said, get over here, get over there. And his son told me it took about half an hour to get him to get off the tree stand. He was so rattled.
Wow.
Wow. I don't blame you.
Yeah, and he
I'd
said
be
when he
pretty
got
mad.
home, he went right to his room and laid in his bed. I mean, he was just so shaken up.
How long ago was this story?
2012.
Really? So not too long ago.
So he came to us, he told us about the whole thing, and then he took us out there. And I went out, I saw the video, and I'm allowed to show the video, I just can't give a copy out to anybody.
I got you.
And he doesn't even want me giving out his real name.
Right.
Because he's not one of those people who wants to be on TV and get
Right.
any glory out and
Right.
all this stuff. Anyway, my wife got on the tree stand, took a picture of me where he said he was, and you can see whatever it was, comparing the videos, that this thing was, I'm only 5'7". This thing here looks like it's close to about 8 foot tall.
Okay.
I mean, if
Wow.
you're comparing sizes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could see where they had gone through there, but Palmetto area, you can't really find any
Right.
tracks. You can find
Yeah.
depressions, but not tracks.
Right.
Well, we did get up to a road, and we did find some tracks, but it had been raining,
Mm-hmm.
and the water was filling, and we did try our best, and I did make some castings, but they didn't turn out very well. Well, I decided I'm going to set up some trail cams out there.
Okay.
So, and I always leave them out for a little bit of period of time, let the rain get on them and get rid of all that human smell off of them. And all that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And then I went out with my wife and my son and my daughter, and we went out there, and it was getting dark, and you have to be out of the green swamp by 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So we got out there, and me and my son went and walked down this dirt road, and it both had swamps on both sides of this dirt road, just to give you an idea of the layout.
Right.
And this was about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it was getting dark. It was going back there, but we couldn't see out, into the swamps. And we hear something splashing around. And my son was just kind of looking over and stuff with me. And unfortunately, that one time I did not bring my Bigfoot gear with me, and I always carry bear mace with me
Right.
as a precaution.
Yep.
I don't bring firearms, I bring
Right.
bear mace.
Right.
And we stopped and we're looking, and then we walk, and then we hear something making a really, and my son like,
That's weird.
I said, that don't sound like a panther or a bear. And well, we get up to it, and we hear it start, and it's coming out toward us. The noise is getting louder as
Right.
it's coming toward us. And then we hear it scream again, and my son had, funny story, he had these night vision goggles that he had gotten in a video game.
Wow.
I think it was Call of Duty or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
right,
that.
right,
And he
right,
brought them
right.
out just to see how well they worked. That was
Right.
his own thing. He just said, I want to see what. And he said he looked up and he could see some glowing eyes looking at him with the night vision.
Nice.
So he hands them to me, and I'm looking, and I could see. I said, "Now, is that a raccoon sitting on a branch, or And I'm looking around, and there was just cypress,
Right.
and there was nothing there, and you could hear it breathing. And then I look over, and I'm shortening up this story a little bit because it's enough.
No, that's fine.
I'm going very detailed in my book. on the story.
Yeah, don't give away
Yeah.
plots or anything.
Anyway, we heard it make another noise. I look over behind me, and my son's gone. I'm like, that little jerk took off on me. Let me out here by myself. So I'm sitting there watching and stuff, and and this went on for it seemed like a long time, but my son said it really wasn't. And then I hear movement behind me, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now there's one behind me. I said, this one's got my attention. This one's going to come in behind me and get me, the classic, So I look around and, real cautiously behind me, and I look over, and my son pokes his head out from behind the tree. It was my son. And he just kind of whispers, is it still there?
Oh.
And I said, I think so. And then it let out another scream, and he goes, Dad, I think we need to leave. So I said, okay, let's get out of here. I'll come back during the daytime and get the trail cam. So we started heading back, and we could hear it screaming again
Right.
at us, and we started walking a little bit faster.
Territorial creatures, yes.
Yeah.
So we got back to the Jeep, and turned out my wife and my daughter both heard the screaming, and they had beat feet back to the Jeep waiting for us to come back.
Right.
So we got back in. Now, am I 100% sure on that? No. All I saw was glowing eyes.
Right.
And I always try to make sure I tell people, I'm not going to make more out of it than it was. We heard some noise, we heard it splashing, whatever it was splashing really loudly. and we did see the glowing eyes. Only with the night vision goggles did I see the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Another time we were up, I was up with a gentleman by the name of Stacy Brown Jr.
Okay.
You may have seen him if you ever type in his name with Bigfoot. He's got an awesome video that
I know
he
you're
did
speaking of,
with
yes.
that thermal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is up near Torreya State Park on. You ever watch a show Finding Bigfoot? There is an episode in Florida where a lady has a handprint.
I've seen that episode. Mm-hmm.
Well, we were on her property.
Wow.
This is what happened. In fact, her and her husband owned a lot of property out there. And anyway, we were out, and I'll tell you a funny story about them in a second.
Right.
But anyway, we were up on the top of this hill area, and we had broken into groups. So I was with another gentleman, David Lauer, and this young girl, I forget what her name was. She just came out with that time just to participate.
Right.
And this was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And we got up there, and we came around, and I had a thermal with me.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I had Stacy's thermal.
Right.
And we heard something move around in this field. Well, I lift up the thermal and look over, and I clear as day, I can see something or someone standing up. And somebody said, "What did it look like?" I said, "If I was to give you a visual, it reminded me of Captain Kirk when he's beaming down. You remember that posture that
Yes,
he has?
yeah, the stand.
That class?
Mhm. Right.
That's what it reminded me of.
Thanks for
Because-
mentioning Star Trek on our podcast. We're so,
Because, I mean, that's what I distinctly remembered in my brain. I said, "Oh, it looks like Captain Kirk."
yeah, I know what you're
And
talking
the first thing that popped in my head, we have poachers, and we were told by the Bridges to watch out. They did have a problem with poachers coming
Right,
on the
yeah.
property.
Running around, yeah.
So I handed the thermal to Stacy. I said, "Hey, there's something or someone standing out in that field there." Well, we heard movement, and Stacy brought the thermal up, and he said, "Oh man, it just took off running." So we got out there. You could see the depression where it had been.
Right.
And we went ahead and tried to do a size comparison, and David Lauer was about 6 foot and went and stood there, and I went back over to where I was standing, which I knew exactly where I was at because
Right.
there was a nice clearing area. And I aimed it, and I could see whatever it was now was a lot taller than David.
Really?
Because I could barely see David, but this I could, I mean, I remember
you could
thinking,
tell the
there's
difference.
somebody out there. In fact, either way, it freaked me out, even if it was a skunk ape or a poacher. Either way, I was a little
Yeah.
nervous.
I'd be more afraid of the poacher.
Yeah.
Because poachers do shoot at you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was something that, you know,
And this is in North Florida
It is.
area? Okay.
they live near Torreya State Park,
Okay.
not too far from Tallahassee.
All right.
And Bridges, you know, really nice people. He used to let us come on the property.
Right.
And the funny story I was going to tell you, I asked Mr. Bridges, I said, "When did you figure out or find out that you had something out there on your property?" You know, okay. He goes, "Well, when we were building the house," and he's an architect, by the way, just
Okay.
to tell
All
you.
right.
He had some people putting carpet in his house, and they called him up at his office. They said, "Hey, Mr. Bridges," and he said, "Yeah." He said, "We're the carpet people. We've got, you know, carpeting. Do you have anything weird on your property?" And he's like, "Weird? What do you mean, bears and stuff?" And the guy goes, "No, it wasn't a bear." He said, "Yeah, we saw something down at the base of your, because he lives on the side of a
Right.
hill, and there's a creek at the bottom."
Okay.
And he said, "Yeah, there was something down there, you know, at the creek, and we're out of here." And that's how it ended.
They got freaked out.
And he's like, "Mr.
Wow.
Bridges," so he gets on the phone, and I mean, so, well, gets off the phone, and jumps in his car, and comes on home, and they're gone. Carpet people are gone.
Right.
He gets on the phone, calls carpet people, and said, "Yeah, apparently my people said they saw some kind of a Bigfoot at down the creek, and they're not coming back out." And they went ahead and told everybody in my office, and nobody's going to come out and do your carpeting.
Holy
I
crap.
had to call another carpeting company
Wow.
to finish out his carpeting. Mr. Bridges has never seen it. Mrs. Bridges has caught things walking off at the end.
Right.
But there has been people on the property that have seen. They've invited some BRFO investigators, and one said one will walk.
Well, you know, Bigfoot is the renowned worldwide hide and seek champion. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. And it's so funny. A lot of people, and I've spoke to a lot of people over the years because I love Bigfoot, Skunk Ape, Loch Ness Monster. I'm into that stuff.
I wouldn't
as
know
well.
with that shirt on.
I know. You know, and I got my Bigfoot shirt on with the drinking the martini. My wife is excellent to finding me my Hawaiian shirts.
In the outside wall of the house.
Yes, he come up, he pulled him and says, "I was always wondering whose house this was."
I drive by it all the time, and I have one too. But I gotta admit, yours is kind of a little bit better than mine.
I actually painted a little bit of that, but a funny story real quick. I have a 8-9 foot silhouette of Bigfoot on the front of our garage, And I'm like a attraction in Bartow. We have people come by and stop. Hey, can we take a picture with Bigfoot? And I'm like, yeah, because we're right around the corner from the Wonder House.
Yes.
Which we'll speak about in a little while. And I mean, they're literally, you could hit them with a rock, unless you're. That's why we're going to talk about rock throwing with Sasquatch.
I've always told my wife, we have cars that scream by our house all the time. I've always said all we got to do is just mimic Sean's house, and everybody would drive 15 mile an hour like they do.
Why can't you be on person, Randy?
I need the people to slow down around my house, so I put a big, Bigfoot on my front porch. I just referred to the people running in the grass, looking at this stuff on your house.
It's fun, but it's annoying at sometimes. You're trying to wind down after work, drinking a cocktail, watching something on TV on the front porch, and all of a sudden, somebody, who the hell's that pulling in my driveway? Who are you people? And I had to go put my pants on. People do not tell your children that I'm a role model. I'm the worst role model in the world. So Randy, I appreciate you wanting to put a Bigfoot on your house because of me. So that's a lot of fun.
Slow the
I
traffic
have one,
down.
like I said, but I have it inside my everybody has a man cave. I have a Bigfoot cave.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was going to put it out there, but I got a lot of high school kids out there. I'm scared they're going to run by and shoot at it or something. And I'm just like, my wife got it to me for I think it was a birthday or Christmas present, and so it's got a nice little home in my my man cave sitting there.
Do you talk about this stuff with your students and stuff like that, or?
When on occasions, I mean, we have what they call the icebreaker when you get kids in the class to sit down and talk about it. And I do tell kids, if you have heard something, please by all means, but it's not going to dominate the entire class. We still have curriculum that we have to stick to.
Right.
But the first 5-10 minutes, to get everybody settled and get everybody in the frame of mind that
Right.
I say by all means, and they'll bring up some stuff. They say, "Oh, we saw you on TV. We saw you do the wife swap episode," which not one of my best decisions in life.
Right. I didn't know you were on that show.
Oh yeah, 2010. We were the Bigfoot hunting family. That's when I lived in Sebring.
Wow.
Yeah, I would just say that my wife didn't want to do the show. I wanted to do, because I had been a big fan of that Josh Gates show, Expedition Unknown.
Absolutely.
I wanted to see what it was like to be on TV. And my name had gotten dropped a couple times because Tracy comes out with me, and they were looking for a husband-wife team to go out and do that stuff.
What was the swap with? What was the other family like?
They were actually a very nice family.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, in real life. Last name's Parker, out of Memphis.
Okay.
And their son, they were promoting their son who was into hip hop singing.
Okay.
So hip hop versus Bigfoot hunting.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
It comes on. In fact, ABC called after and said that your episode's ranked as one of the top 10 favorite episodes.
Holy crap!
So how was it? So you're his dad for how long?
Well, the whole filming process took about 3 weeks, almost 4.
Okay.
But I know. I mean, the mother came to stay with us, and Tracy went over to stay
with their other family, right?
Right.
And Adriana, sweet lady, didn't like anything to do with the woods. I mean, God bless her. But I have to admit, at that time I had a hovercraft. Those little, which I have since sold because I was getting too many citations for noise in Winter Haven. Anyways, that last citation was a little too much, so I said I sold it. Anyway, scared as she was of water, she did get in the hovercraft with me, and I took a little spin around.
Did you take her on any expeditions?
I did. We went on a couple of them, and for the most part, she was pretty open to it. I mean, she really took when I showed her an alligator, I showed her all the stuff out there. I mean, she took to it, but did I make her a believer? Probably not.
Right.
Because I mean, we didn't run into anything out there as far as we didn't have
even
any
a close
Skunk Ape.
experience, right?
No, we didn't have any wood knocks, rock throwing, or anything. And believe it or not, with all the camera equipment and everything out there, I knew
it would have scared the hell out of me.
I knew it was a bust, as the expression goes.
So my question is, did your wife sing any hip hop music on her experience?
A lot of it. Yes, she did. She actually came. I had a great time. They have like, was it 4 or 5 children, and their oldest son was actually into it. His name's Al. And when I got to meet Al, when the families come together, me and Al, and in fact him and the kids, we all sat down at breakfast and we had a big conversation all about cryptozoology. So I mean, it was, we came out friends. I'm friends with Robert Parker, the dad, on Facebook. We still keep up on.
Right.
So I mean, it was a good. I made friends, And don't believe everything. Reality TV is not
Right.
You
As
know,
reality as you
absolutely.
think.
It's not scripted. I always said, so did they tell you what to say though? But they set up the scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, so. But I came out a little bit smarter about TV on that.
And it educated you on maybe future shows.
So you say you had a bad experience. Do you feel like it was? I know we're getting off topic here.
Yeah, we
but
can get back on
Is
this
it?
one.
Was it something that they script? No, I know not scripted, but put you in situations that made you feel like either you were a bad person or
Yes.
your wife was. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I got you.
Yes.
I got you. Yeah.
And I've come to realize that really what, and unfortunately, they weren't dedicated to staying out the whole night.
Yeah.
When we got out to the locations and stuff.
Right.
And, my wife actually got to go down to Falk, Arkansas, because they were in Memphis, so they took them down there.
Right.
So she got to visit Falk before I did.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
You know?
That's awesome.
So, but anyway,
You were talking about that was great. I need to find that episode. I guess you can find it on YouTube or something possibly. No, not at all.
ABC, it's on Lifetime channel now.
Lifetime channel.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it comes on in a blue moon. And
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Okay.
I do get told when it's on because on Facebook people will say, hey, your episode's
You're on. You're on. It's the episode with Rob. It's on. You talked about some things when you were talking about that story about rock throwing.
Yes.
Which you talked about the screaming, but go a little bit into the rock throwing. Have you encountered that? Give us a little background on what that means.
I myself have never ran into the rock throwing. And then I'm not going to say it hasn't happened in Florida. That definitely happens in Texas.
Yes.
And I always joke the reason it does because Texans will shoot at a Bigfoot, no questions asked.
Correct.
And I think this animal is a little bit more aggressive,
Yeah.
due to the fact that it's there are people shooting at it.
So it's like an incident where you are hunting for Bigfoot or people are in hunting for wildlife or whatever, and all of a sudden a rock will just come and be
That's
just out of
basically what-
nowhere.
that's what will
and
happen.
it's a territorial thing. There's thinking
That's pretty much
maybe.
what everybody does. I mean, even gorillas do the same thing.
Yeah.
Which you're going to find a lot of people in our field do a lot of comparisons to gorillas
Right.
to the Bigfoot skunk ape.
I've always thought that Bigfoot skunk ape was a North American ape anyway, is what I
That's
was
what
kind
Lauren
of-
Coleman
Yeah.
christened it.
I think it is, but-
It's definitely a primate of some sort.
right.
I mean, from everything I've talked to and the witnesses I've talked to, the witnesses who I believe had a real experience, because unfortunately I've met some I don't believe. But anyway, and they all pretty much describe it as a primate type
Interesting.
creature.
And
They're,
apes do throw things. Have you ever met anybody that's been hit by a rock?
not
Or
hit, but
Just
they-
like, hey, I'm right here, just get the hell off my property kind
The
of
more
thing.
common thing is the wood knocks.
Okay.
You'll be in the woods and everything's quiet, and then bang, you're like, well, where did that come from?
Right.
Now that I have heard.
Yeah.
In fact, I've heard in the Green Swamp on the Florida Trail.
Oh, okay.
Me and my wife went walking one day just to do a day walk,
Yeah.
and I don't remember how many years ago it was quite a ways. But she got to a point where she said, okay, I'm ready to turn around and go back. And no sooner had we turned back and started walking, and bang, and we both looked at each other and were like, I said, I wonder if one of them's out there, and the fact that we turned around just sent a signal, okay, the humans are leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's obviously some kind of a signal.
Mhm.
I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And what they use these signal for, that instance I believe it was signaling the rest of them that we're leaving. And I've always had the belief that these animals, and they're in pods, and again I'm using the gorilla,
Right.
Right.
family
Reference.
unit,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
have what they call a sentry out, or a lookout.
Right.
Where one of them will be out there kind of keeping an eye out so the pod can go to sleep and,
Right.
and when this, humans come into the area, this sentry, as I call it, will alert the pod humans are in the area or humans are coming toward the
Right.
area. So,
They have to communicate, and you look at all the ancient man, and they would tap on drums,
Yes.
and to communicate over long distances. They didn't have telephones, obviously, or cell phone, but that was where they communicate. North American Indian, Native Americans, they look at the Sasquatch as a god, a friendly god kind of a creature. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay.
I would say almost every, and again, I'm not a historian or
Right.
a Native American,
Mhm.
but every Native American tribe that I have had dealings with all thoroughly believe in this animal.
Right.
It's not a matter of if, it is, they believe it.
Correct.
And they do hold it up at a very high status.
Right.
In fact, they even say, get mad at us, once you guys leave it alone. It's not doing anything to anybody, leave it
Right.
alone. It's interesting, the Seminoles, of course, have their story, but they actually stole them from another tribe, because you remember the Seminoles came down,
Yes.
so their whole legend, which are the same as Masuki and there's another tribe, it's based out of Ocala, I can't remember the name of it, begins with a T. The Seminoles pretty much took their legends as their own.
Right. Okay.
Because the Seminoles, they do have a history. But again, like I said in my original statement, they wholeheartedly believe the animal's out there.
Right.
There's no doubt in their mind it's
Right.
out there.
There's so many legends about it, and there's many different names like we've mentioned, but explain to our listeners, our viewers, why it's called in Florida the Skunk Ape.
Well, back in, trying to get this date right, 1971, there was an amateur archaeologist who, his name just escaped me.
That's fine.
He was going to interview, and he had seen it. Him
Right.
and had seen it in a big
Right.
cypress swamp.
Okay.
And in the interview, he wholeheartedly says it's called a swamp. It's a swamp. I mean, a skunk ape.
Mhm.
And of course, it's because of the smell of the
Smell,
animal.
right.
But all of these animals, all emit a smell. Even the Sasquatch up in the over in California and Oregon has been known to give off a smell.
Right.
The Honey Island swamp monster down in Louisiana gives off a smell.
Right. Right.
These animals are all known for giving off a very putrid smell. One gentleman described it as the smell that you get when the dumpster's emptied in the middle of, after in a hot
Yeah.
summer day after the trash comes and gets it.
all.
I mean, it's just a very, to where you go, oh my God, what is that smell?
Right.
It's none of this like, what's that smell? You will make a face when you smell this, is what,
Well, I'm leading to this because in the Wauchula area, Bowling Green area, there's a lot of swampy areas and there's a lot of people that hunt down there. My wife was affiliated at one time with a gentleman that hunted. I'm sure he was more of a poacher type, from what I understand. But they went out in the woods. The dogs went in after something. They followed. The dogs ran out. This is in Bowling Green, Wauchula. They walked up on a area of tree limbs that have been bent over, almost to look like a cave. They went in there, and it was a dead silence. But they said they smelled a smell that they could not describe. And they've been around dead animals and hog hunting and all that all these years. And it scared the living crap out of them. And these are big hunter, masculine men. I'm going to hunt, blah, blah, blah. And it scared the hell out of them, and they just could not get past the smell. It was almost to make you throw up.
It is.
And it was in like this hut almost. There was no sign of human beings, homeless people, or anything. And they ran and they got the hell out of there. So that's why I was going to ask you about the smell.
Oddly enough, I have had some sightings come out of Bowling Green. There's a park down there.
Right.
I forget the
Heritage Park, maybe? No.
name. No, it's past Heritage. It begins with a P. It's in Bowling Green.
West quadrant of Bowling Green, and we were there's a camping area.
There's a state park out there.
Passion?
No, I'll have to.
Is that not Passion?
I'll have to look at because Laura and I have been looking to go
Yeah,
camping down there.
I got you.
So maybe after the story we'll not be going camping down there. Go ahead, let's
Take
hear
a guide.
It's a big park. It's got a lot of
It's
lakes.
all
There's a
good.
lot of fishing
Yeah.
down there. And
Well, this park here has two lakes two rivers that connect.
right.
And again, it's escaping me what the
Yeah.
name of that. And I'm sure one of them's a Peace River.
Yeah.
Right. Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Definitely. It's pieces now.
Because in fact, some of the investigators believe that these animals use the Peace River as kind of a highway.
Right.
Because it's been seen a lot of times on the Peace River. With the Lakuchi State Park,
Yes.
Yeah.
with the Lakuchi River, it's been seen along the banks of there. Which, and Cliff Breckman and me both agree that these animals, everything needs water to survive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So it's going to eventually come to the water, and everything else goes to the water. So whatever these animals eat, which we, could they be vegetarians? Maybe, but very unlikely.
Right.
They probably some kind of a type meat eater, and lo and behold, there's so many doggone hogs, especially up in the green swamps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And deer and other
Bear.
animals. Yes. So, I do like that. In fact, we usually like to do a lot of our Bigfoot hunting when we look for sources of water.
Yeah.
Because we know that's where they're gonna.
Well, and I'm not trying. I am being funny, but I want to make this comment about the smell. They are attracted to water. They won't swim in it. They get the stink off of them because apes are afraid of water.
Well, they are, but they, for the most part, they will get in the water for certain periods.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, one Seminole, I'm not sure how true this story is because I've only heard it from one, would tell me that he was told by his grandfather that I forget the name of it, the term they use for the skunk ape, which I never say it correctly either.
Okay.
Anyway, they when they hear when they
Call it like the swamp thing, or what can you like?
basically it was
Sasquatch,
kind of like a wood cannibal.
Oh, okay, all right.
The wood forest people, or
Yeah, I've never heard that. Right.
yeah, but again, it's in the Seminole dialect, so
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
it's took hockey, or and again, I'm probably
That's fine.
But anyway, he said that he was told by his grandfather that whenever the hunting parties, would come in the area, these animals would lay down in the water with just their nose and their mouth sitting above the water.
Oh.
And that's a very intelligent thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't catch gorillas doing that. Or,
Right.
When you're in the military, you always you want to hide from the enemy or whatever. You get the little reed and breathe out of underneath the water or whatever.
But he did say that, and I was just like, that's the first time I've ever heard that. But I mean, with the heat the way it is, and I wouldn't be surprised if these animals do, cool off in the swamps and stuff.
Yeah.
We need to start leaving soap out there for them so they can wash.
Well, they got that Sasquatch soap you can get now.
Is there a Sasquatch? Yeah, I want to smell. What's that smell coming from the bathroom,
It's
honey?
called Dr. Sasquatch.
Sean, you need it in this room, buddy.
Yeah, I know it.
Dr. Sasquatch is the name of the soap.
Dr. Sasquatch.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I love that.
Yeah, you type it online and stuff, and you'll find. In fact, I probably just put
We free plug. We'll send you a bill, Dr. Sasquatch, for your soap plug there.
Can I jump to a different subject real quick? Y'all had mentioned Mothman prophecy.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Because
Well,
real quick, it scared the crap out of me. The movie version.
Well, I just so happened I was invited by the gentleman who owns the Mothman Museum up at Point Pleasant to come down there and speak. Which, if you ever get a chance to go to this event, it's awesome. I mean, and it's free, And but anyway, John Keel, one of my favorite authors, initially wrote the Mothman Prophecies, where this flying type humanoid was seen down in near this old TNT plant.
Right, Sean, have you seen the movie?
I have not seen the movie.
my
I'm familiar
goodness.
with the creature.
Just give your the woman wrecks and she's brains messed up from the car wreck, and she's drawing these pictures, and the pictures are of the Mothman is what she saw that run her off the road, and it really freaked me out. Go ahead.
So it's a flying entity, is what you're saying.
Yeah, in fact, I in my book I call them flying cryptids.
Okay.
Because you got the Mothman,
Right.
And you got the Jersey Devil, which has wings.
It flies. I did not realize.
So I put them in their own little category.
There's a giant bird as well that people
Yes.
think's a pterodactyl or something
Yes.
like that. So.
There was a sighting in Florida that it was a way back,
Wow.
and I can't remember exactly if it was south or north of here, but we've had a couple of.
That movie freaked me out.
So, is it? And I'm not trying to make fun because I'm not much knowledgeable on the Mothman, but is it like a fairy maybe?
No, it's more of an alien type creature.
An alien creature.
In fact, if you look at the entire story, there was some.
Is the movie
lights.
close? Is the movie close?
No.
Okay, so
No.
all right, so I'm going off the movie when I
that's
say
fine.
I like
The
that.
movie was done strictly for entertainment value.
Right. Okay. All right.
Okay. The story goes there was a group of kids, 4 of them in a car,
Right,
went out to the TNT plant, which was abandoned. It was a World War II plant, and they saw it standing on the side of the road, and they could see the glowing eyes and stuff, and they turned around and decided to beat feet out, and they looked up and the thing took off and was flying and was keeping up with the car.
Wow.
Now again, I'm going to throw another gentleman by the name of Seth Breedlove. He's been doing some videos on cryptids, and he did an awesome one on the Mothman. I mean, I've seen every episode or every show about the Mothman, and I got to tell you that he did his homework.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and he had some sightings that I didn't even know about.
Right.
So I mean, if you viewers ever want to, his shows are available on Amazon, and he just finished one on Momo, and he did one on flying. He's done one on the Falcon Monster, on the Ohio Grassman and stuff, and I think he's getting ready to do one on UFOs.
Okay.
Yeah, he's based up in Ohio. Super nice guy.
Right.
Really is. I got to.
Is he related to the hometown monsters that?
Yeah, that's him.
It is him.
That's
Okay.
him.
All right.
That's him.
I missed that if you said that. I'm sorry.
He.
I love those guys.
I got to actually be in one of the what is it, Insight or he did a Bigfoot one. Oh God, not Finding Bigfoot, of course. That's a TV show. But anyway, I was doing the Crypticon up in Kentucky, and he was there, and we sat down, and he ended up interviewing me for the show. Which, but I've known Seth since we both met at Falk, Arkansas, when he was starting off doing this stuff. And then him and his team, I mean, they put out some quality DVD or shows.
Right. I've invited them to be a guest at Sci-Fi Bartow, and I'm actually talking with them about that. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you could also have him being able to show his videos to people.
Right.
I mean, he does a great job. I don't know if down the road if he's ever going to do one on the Skunk Ape, but I mean, he was definitely, we talked a lot about it for a while. But yeah, like I said, I know he's currently doing one on UFOs.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
Interesting. So, bottom line this for us. Do you believe in these creatures?
If you would ask me point blank, yes. I do believe there is a large primate type creature out there that science hasn't been able to put their finger on, that is roaming in various parts of the United States or in parts of the world, for that matter.
They are finding new species every day. I
Yes,
saw
they do.
something about a giant shark that was 20 foot that came out from nowhere, and like, we thought this thing was extinct. And what the hell is this
I
thing?
mean, it's not a megalodon, but it's...
No, it had kind of a smiley face. I don't get a megalodon having a smiley face.
No, I saw that movie, The Meg. It didn't have a smile.
I missed that because I couldn't get past the Family Guy Meg thing. So it's just. But there are all types of creatures, and we delved into a few of them, and I just want to know because I believe firmly. I've never had a direct encounter with any type of a cryptoid creature, cryptid creature, and but I truly believe. I've talked to so many people. I have friends. When we do a next episode with you with the UFOs in Area 51, I'll tell you a story that happened here in Bartow.
Okay.
You may have heard of, and stay tuned for that. I'll be coming on a really near future podcast. But when I was a small child, my grandfather owned a bunch of orange groves in the back half of Polk County called Alturas. And they had a creek run through there called Boggy Branch. Not Boggy Creek, but Boggy Branch. And my father and his father and my dad's grandfather told a story of the Boggy Creek monster. And we always just thought it was to scare us little kids.
Yeah.
So we'll flash forward till I'm 12, 13 years old. And my dad had what they call a dog called a jarmouth cur. It's a big dog with a big head, kind of pit bullish, but a different type of hair and all that. Really, not aggressive dog, but just he took care of the family. He was very friendly with the kids and us, and growing up, and he'd go everywhere with us. So we would go down and have weenie roast out in the cow pastures that would have joined this Boggy Creek where the cows would go and drink. And we were out there eating, and all of a sudden the air got still. The crickets quit chirping. The owls quit hooting, and it was just a really weird feeling. If you look, my hair's standing up. This is a recognition of what I have. So there was something, we could hear it moving in the distance. My dad said, it must be a cow, blah, blah, blah. And his flashlight wouldn't pick up anything, because, back then, a flashlight, they weren't like these LED lights. They were like the little D batteries and a little Rayovac little metal thing, and it wouldn't shoot very far. So my dad looked at our dog. His name was Bob, and he goes, "Bob, skid him, get him." And Bob, the dog, ran to where the noise was, and that dog turned around, yelped, turned around, run back as fast as he could, and he got underneath my dad's pickup truck. It took us 30 minutes to get him out. And this dog was not scared of anything.
Right.
He saw something down there, and I think it was the Boggy Creek monster, which is probably a skunk ape. We didn't smell anything. It was not a full moon that night. I remember it just like it was yesterday. But we put that damn fire out, and we got the hell out of there. So, we went back the next day, couldn't find any footprints. Because, the cows are walking through there and all this crap. And it turned out my grandfather had said, well, the cows weren't out in that part of the pasture that night. We went to all the avenues to find out what the hell it was, The nearest house is 15, 20 miles away. You know, it was all fenced off, you know, but that was my closest encounter, if you will, with a Bigfoot type monster creature, you know. And like you said, they're attracted to water, might have been drinking, might have wanted a hot dog or some s'mores or something, you know, like, hey, come on up, hang out, you know.
Well, I find it fascinating because I had a similar situation. I never saw anything, but we used to go out to Homeland Cemetery, and we would take girls out there, and we'd hang out and try to scare them.
You like girls?
Yeah, I did back
That's
in
cool.
high school. And of course, we all rednecks had spotlights on our trucks and stuff. And I just remember hearing a noise, and a friend of mine named Ray shined his spotlight out in there. And I couldn't see, I saw what looked like a shadow. And when the spotlight got on him, the shadow was distinct, like it could have been somebody standing there, but it was black.
Right.
And as soon as the spotlight got on them, they disappeared behind a tree. And I was like, whoa, Ray, go back. You know, so he's bringing his light back, and we couldn't find it. And we sat there, and we like, you know, we better get out of here. Well, not even 15, 20 minutes later, people were running through the woods with lamps. Like, it reminded me of the old lamps, but it wasn't. It was just like these camping halogen lamps.
Right.
And they're running through the woods, and they had rifles. We could tell, and we're shooting spotlights on them, and they're in the distance. And we were like, you know, it's time to go. We got crazy people running through the woods with a gun. I saw a shadow. I can't tell if it was big or huge.
Right.
We didn't go out and measure. I mean, we were high school kids. We were like, let's get the hell out of here. So that's the only thing that I have. But I find it fascinating, you know, this stuff and all these people. And like you say, you run across people that have never, that you don't believe. Okay, you know, how much did they really see? Was it imagination?
Were they smoking some weed?
Right,
or
exactly.
Drinking some mushrooms or whatever, you know?
Because of that little encounter, even though I don't know exactly what it was, and I wouldn't say that it was an animal or a skunk ape or swamp thing or whatever.
Mothman.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. But all I know is that if it was a human, well, it was people chasing him with guns. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was like about 1991.
Well, that's always been my argument about people in suits, because I mean, no one under certain people out, especially up in Ocala.
Right.
If you're gonna run around in a gorilla suit, your life, you must have a
don't get
death
shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
because they will shoot you, and there's a bunch of hunters up in
Hey,
Ocala.
Bubba, look, it's a big old bear.
Yes. I mean, they will shoot you.
Yeah, right.
I mean, no
So-
questions asked. And there is no law about shooting a Bigfoot in Florida.
Really?
We don't have a law against doing that.
Is there
not-
other states with laws like that?
Washington, I've always said Washington State or Oregon has a, and it's not so much, and if you ever look at the way it's written, it's not so much they believe it, they just don't want anybody to get shot in costume.
Right.
Right, I got you.
And an example is when they were filming The Empire Strikes Back, The Return of the Jedi.
Right.
That whole part was filmed up in Washington State. They actually had to have security on the gentleman
David
played
Prowse.
Chewbacca.
Yep,
Yeah.
Prowse.
Because they were worried that people were going to mistake him for a Bigfoot,
Absolutely.
and that is a documented fact.
Right.
That wasn't just an old, urban legend about it. He said, no, that's true. They did have
Right.
people, and they did tell me, we're out here, we're Bigfoot seen, and we don't want people thinking,
Right,
thinking we're a
absolutely.
Bigfoot.
Right.
Absolutely.
And he said he was a little conscientious about it too, thinking, God, I didn't know that.
It's
Right.
so funny you tell that story, and I want to bridge off on that for a second. But we're mentioning a lot of towns and places. Our podcast originates. All right, so what I was getting at is we're in Central Florida. We live in a town called Bartow. It's like right between Tampa and Orlando. Places we're mentioning like Alturas and Homeland, Bowling Green, Wauchula are just within a 50-mile radius of us, all these places, or maybe less.
Yeah.
I just want to get our viewers and our listeners.
There's lots of woods, orange groves,
You know,
swamp.
What I would tell people is really ironic is, we got the Green Swamp, and that's just right up the road from Disney World.
Right.
I mean, if you look at it, so, in fact, people ask me, has it been seen in the Disney property? I'll never know. Because Disney property, people out of Disney will never come forward and tell you anything that goes on in Disney
Absolutely.
property. But I mean, Green Swamp mirrors right up against,
Right up to, yeah, that's right.
so that's kind of ironic.
I want to give everybody like a perspective of where we're at and all that and what we're talking about. Now, I want to go back to when you mentioned when they filmed Return of the Jedi up in the woods, and they were trying to emulate Endor, the moon Endor with the Ewoks.
Yes.
this is going to maybe come way out of left field. This is maybe something you already know. Chewbacca,
Yeah.
kind of Bigfootish, like you're saying. Could Bigfoot and the related name Sasquatch, Skunk Ape be aliens?
There are people that have do believe that. There's a quick story. One of the ladies who started the whole Bigfoot investigations down here in Florida, Ramona Clark Hittner, she died in 1986, unfortunately, But she was a serious investigator, probably the most serious investigator down here in Florida at times from the 60s and 70s. And she, in fact, she didn't even like the term skunk ape. She called it the Yeti.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, she would get reports in, and she noticed that she was getting some that was that first they saw some lights that looked like lights had landed, and then people were seeing Bigfoot.
Right.
So, and at first she even said, I didn't really want to go in that direction. I said, it's a flesh and blood creature, let's keep it at. But she did say that I did start getting enough sightings where I said I had to kind of like,
Let's look at this, right?
Me personally, I do listen to people, but I have not seen anything in that as far as I'm going.
Right.
All right. But I'm not. But I tell people I keep an open mind, but I don't keep my mind so open that my brain falls out.
Right.
Right.
Well, it's just when you brought that up about the filming, and I was already going on that track when you brought it up, I thought, man, we're linking. I'm linking
Right.
to this guy.
Absolutely, yeah.
You look at, because Chewbacca, their whole race looks like a bunch of Yetis or Bigfoot or whatever. So I just want to bring that in because it's a paranormal.
And to tie this in, the gentleman that drew the poster for the Legend of Boggy Creek is also the one that did all the artwork for Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
And he's actually credited with coming up with the face of Darth Vader, and and somebody said, well, I guess he modeled Chewbacca after the Falcon monster. I said no. George Lucas gave him distinct directions on how he wanted Chewbacca to look.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess was after look like one of his dogs.
Right. Yes.
From my understanding.
More of a Shih Tzu. Chewbacca kind of looks like a Shih Tzu in the face a little bit, so or a Yorkie.
Yeah.
Yorkies are like 3 inches tall or whatever. We're gonna wrap up. I want to thank you, Robert, for coming and see us, and
Yes,
please plug your book one more time for our
let's
listeners.
It's called Legend Tripping: The Ultimate Adventure. It's a guidebook on how to go look for legends. From cryptids to haunted houses to buried treasure to mysterious places. It is available on Amazon, but it is available from my publisher, Adventures Unlimited Press. And if you do purchase one and you do run into limited bombings, I will love to sign it for you. And you want to make some comments and tell me some stuff because I am working on a sequel now called International Legend Tripping.
Nice.
So.
Was there some other things that before you came here that you really wanted to hit on that you didn't hit on that you can hit on now?
Well, again, if anybody has any sightings or any kind of interesting stories, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am on Facebook, Robert Robinson Legend Tripper. I think I'm the only Robert Robinson Legend Tripper.
I've been following you for years, sir. So.
By all means, I love to hear new stories. Because I am on a back note, I'm also doing a book on the Florida Skunk Ape.
Okay, all right.
But I ran into a snag on, I told you about Ramona Clark Hittner.
Yes.
A lot of her stuff never got published, and I'm trying to find out what happened to all those reports.
Oh, yes,
so that's
absolutely.
where I hit a snag right now. But I'm still putting in current sightings and stuff like that.
Let's link Rob to our Facebook.
Oh,
page,
absolutely.
Sci-fi.
And I'm going to need the links to these books and things. So
Absolutely.
Messenger, you send them to me. They'll be a part of the podcast and our Facebook posts and stuff like that.
We're growing. Make sure if you the episode for this will drop this week or next in another week or so, right? Whenever.
Yeah, 8 days.
One thing I wanted to add, and I keep forgetting
Yeah,
to do
that's
this.
fine. Good.
David Weatherly, another Legend Tripper,
Right.
he put out a series, 3 books called Wood Knocks.
Okay.
Well, he asked me to do a chapter on the Skunk Ape for Wood Knocks Volume 3.
Nice.
Yeah, I was really honored that he called asked me
Absolutely.
to do that.
I'm familiar with him.
So if you folks are interested, I did do Volume 3, and it's all about the Florida Skunk Ape.
Find all this on Facebook, social media. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe to this podcast.
I'll have all these links.
And
Everything.
we'll have all the links there. I want to again thank you, Robert, for coming and being with us on your busy schedule. And it was such an honor to meet you because I've followed you on Facebook a long time, and I've had many people tell me about you in our small town of Bartow. Say, there's this guy. He's a teacher at the high school, and he's a big Bigfoot. You need to hook up, man, because anyone in the small town of Bartow where we have Sci-Fi Bartow always knows Sean is the guy to go to with the weird stuff. You know, who is Sean? He's the guy with the 8-foot Bigfoot on the front of his house and the Star Trek flags all over his yard and things. I want to thank our sponsors real quick. SNL Restaurant in Lakeland off Cumbia Road, best hamburger in the universe. My sister-in-law Tracy is the owner there. Make sure you stop by there and see her. J&E Creations, who creates the Sci-Fi Bartow Cup, which you can get at the event in 2020, third Saturday of February. Order them online. She gives you free shipping if you order these. These are really nice insulated cups. I want to thank Chilton Signs again. They're one of our sponsors here. I want to thank SLS Entertainment, which is my entertainment company for this. We're a sponsor as well. Randy, you got anybody?
I have a book coming out in about 2 or 3 months, but I'm not going to plug that now because I don't have a title for it.
Is it wood knocking of Skunk Ape?
It is actually James Bond-esque, but in space. So.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. I knew you were writing something, but you didn't see. We have some great guests lined up. Look forward to our next podcast. We're going to ask Rob to come back. We're going to talk about storming Area 51, which is the new hot topic, and just tease a little bit. You've actually been to Area 51.
I have.
Okay, that's all you're getting, folks. You just have to find our next podcast. Thank you, guys. Have a great day, and this has been Talking Sci-Fi with Sci-Fi Sean and Randee. Have a great one.
We are live, and this is Talking Sci-Fi.